care how you do it, but if I come back and this room is trashed again, you are going to be on calls for the rest of your life. On calls meant coming to my room 10 minutes before breakfast in the morning and 10 minutes before supper in the evening and bracing against the wall and answering all kinds of foolish questions. Never had another problem. It was amazing. No more shenanigans. I loved it. Got over getting my room trashed. That was a thrill. Bob Montgomery and I were studying one night in spring military history, and we were reading about the Battle of the Bulge in World War II. Knock comes on the door. And go and open the door. It's about 8 o'clock at night, and there stands General of the Army Omar Bradley, the guy who had commanded at the Battle of the Bulge. What? General, come in. He said, I just wanted to see the room. I said, I used to live here in this room, and I just wanted to see this room. He was all looking all around and everything. He said, what are you all up to? I said, well, sir, you never believe this, but we're studying the Battle of the Bulge. He says, I was there. I said, I know you were. Tell us about it. So he sat down in a room there, and for about an hour he regaled us on what went on in his head in the Battle of the Bulge. And talked about what they thought the Germans were going to do and how far they thought they could go and why they were able to stop them at the Muz. Always called it the Meuse River, he called it the Muz. And we just talked for a long time, and it was wonderful. It was exhilarating. And fortunately, I didn't get called on the next day because I probably couldn't remember any of that. I had this big saucer. But after about an hour, he said, I got to go to the facility. And I said, okay. I said, I'll show you where it is. He said, I know where it is. We had a little suite there. There was a living room, a study room, and then you go through a door. There's a closet right there, and then the bedroom, and then you go down this little hall, and then the bathroom. Well, General Omar Bradley got up, walked out of the study room, and walked into the closet and closed the door. Bob and I looked aghast at each other, saying, who is going to go save our clothes and tell the general he's in the wrong place? So we both leaped up and walked back there to the door, and he opened up the door and came out red-faced, and he said, I remember now. He went around through the right place and found the bathroom, and but that was a real trip. The last one was President Eisenhower during June week. He's up there for his 45th reunion, and my class had elected to make him an honorary member of our class. And we're going to do that after the alumni luncheon, which would take place in the cadet mess hall there. And my room was right next to the mess hall. So it was all arranged that he would come to my room after the alumni luncheon, and we'd give him the class ring and all that business. But I went over to find out where I could sit so that I could be close to the door and be able to beat him over to my room if I went to the alumni luncheon. And they said, no, you're not. There's no place for you to sit. You just have to float. Now, float means you go around like this and say, is there a hole here at the table? You know what floating is, right? Yeah. You go in and you don't have an assigned place at a table, you have to find an empty place. And so in those days, if you're a plebe, I wasn't a plebe, I was first captain, but if you're a plebe, you go up and say, is there a hole here? And they say, sit down. But I didn't want to go sit with a bunch of strangers. My parents were there, my girlfriend was there, my brothers were there, so I said, I'll go to lunch with them and I'll be back. Now, what's the very earliest time that this lunch would again? And so that broke the ice. We had a nice little 10 or 15 minute discussion. I gave him a ring, made him a class, honorary class member. And the next day, I got this great telegram from him to Cadet Charles P. Ostad, first captain and brigade commander, United States Corps Cadets, West Point, New York. If you can find it possible to communicate with all members of the graduating class before their dispersal, I would deem it a great favor if you would inform them of my deep sense of distinction in receiving an honorary membership in the class of 1960. I highly prize your great personal courtesy and shall cherish the ring as a symbol of my honorary membership in a memorable event. I'd be further obligated if you would express to each member of your class my very best wishes for success in his chosen career. Eisenhower, Class 15, Honorary 60. Wow. That was a great day, and I really, someplace at my home I have that exact telegram. I only have a copy of it here. Couldn't find it when I went to bring it up here. I remember the days at West Point with great appreciation for the quality and breadth of education, and for the tremendous staff and faculty, for the values that were reinforced there, and for the great company of classmates with whom I will meet in 2 months. Tom will meet with us in 2 months for our 50th reunion. Classmates become the closest friends as a general rule, and they will risk all for you. And I give you as an example, I was commanding a company in 2nd Battalion, 502nd Infantry in 101st in Vietnam in 1967. And Dick Boyd, my classmate, had B company at the same, I had A company, he had B company at the same battalion. We'd both been in very heavy combat with North Vietnamese Army regulars, and both had sustained heavy casualties in our companies. And my company had been withdrawn about 2 miles away to a hilltop to receive a bunch of replacements so we could get back in the fight. And that second night we were on that hill, after receiving a bunch of replacements, we were attacked by an enemy battalion at about 2 o'clock in the morning. Pitch black night, absolutely black night. And one of my platoons was overrun in the very beginning. We were trading red and green tracers at 50 meters, 25 meters. And Dick was down where he could see this. And he called up the battalion commander on the radio and said, Charlie's company is in trouble, and I'm moving my company to help him out right now. And I called Dick back immediately because I heard that on the radio. It meant he would have to come over 2 miles of enemy territory, pitch black, cross a stream that was about chest level to get to me. And whether or not he could break through or whatever was going to be tough. But by that time, we thought we could hold, and we knew we were beginning to swing to get the upper hand. So I called him and said, you don't need to come, we can take care of it. I think we got it under control. But I'll never forget the fact that he, classmate, would risk everything for us and bring his troops to save us when he thought we were in dire straits. So that's the kind of bond that is forged over 4 years at West Point. And it's something that, it's the band of brothers, now the band of brothers and sisters that you get into while you're there. And I commend it to all of the graduates that are here and to your parents. It's a great institution. And it's better now than when I was there by a long shot. Don't ever believe any old grad that says the Corps has. It hasn't. It's better. It's better. The institution is better and the kids are better. I'd tell you that your sons and daughters are going to be the leaders of tomorrow, and you know that. And I hope that you'll try and share as much of the time with them and as much of the experiences with them as you can during the time they're cadets, because you'll better understand their motivation if you do that. So to all of you, thank you very much for having me, and thank you very much for what you're doing at Beat Navy.
Thank you, Charlie. You know, that you bring back some memories of some things that I've done in my life too. But the band of brothers is real. We're here and we're all together. And that's a great thing. Laurel? Mary Ellen? Charlie, we'd like to thank you for having come out of your way to come here and talk to us. It's been a great inspiration for these folks, I know that. But we have something for you to take home with you. Thank you. Appreciate it.